All right, here we go. National anthem time. We're coming to you live during the Lions-Vikings game, and maybe we'll react to that a little bit, but we got a bunch of other topics to hit. We have, by the way, guys, what a horrible Christmas slate this year. I mean, the NFL really, not their fault. I mean, going into the season, that looked like a decent slate.
They got it right.
They got it right. It's just some things are out of your control. You know what I'm saying? So we want to talk about DK Metcalf getting suspended. We want to talk about John Harbaugh, Derrick Henry, the whole thing that happened in the fourth quarter last week. There's been a lot of controversy about that and other things that this has to do with Lamar Jackson in the offseason. And then predictions, number one seeds, who's going to get it? Everything's up in the air. So there's so many crazy things to talk about going into Week 18. But before that, we got Week 17 with some crazy matchups that we're going to discuss all of it coming up.
I think you might notice a little bit of a different voice right now leading you off. That is because Yehuda, the original guest star.
You're not a guest. You're one of us. We have to be switching our whole name because of you.
Don't give away our secrets.
You knew, the Ravens need one touchdown. The Broncos might score one more field goal. So if you get one more touchdown,
Yeah, you went 10-9, call it a day.
you can win 10-9.
I'm going to go with the Commanders as well, just because it's too much of a question mark over there under center for the...
I can't believe you saw that right now.
That's asinine. You're crazy.
He's got
You're
the
crazy.
full package. He's
No
got
way.
The speed.
I don't care.
No
No way. I can't even. It's hard to even look at you right now when you say something like that. That's crazy.
Okay, and guess what? In basketball, you use a basketball. In football, you use a football.
All right, guys, here we go. We are live during a game for the first time in a long time. I don't remember the last time we did this, but of course, the slate is not... I mean, Dan Campbell's going to take it seriously, of course, as I see his serious-looking face in the national anthem right now. But other than him, nobody else really cares about this game, even Jared Goff probably. But, it's unfortunate. We had a potential good lineup.
Division rivalry.
A division rivalry, as we had one. All three are division rivalries. You figure for sure there would have been one game would have been watchable. However, we're gonna get what's the Chiefs' third string quarterback's name? You remember his name?
I know.
Chris Olatakun.
Chris Olatakun.
All I know is there's a song in baseball that goes, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Never heard that one.
I know the NFL struck out there.
Yes, indeed. Not quite what they envisioned. But so we'll react live. The game's just getting underway. They're kicking off right now. The Lions, of course, just to remind you, they need to win out. They need the Packers to lose out. That's their only path. And the Lions have this week, they have the Vikings. Next week, they have the Bears. Tough game. And then the Packers have the Ravens this week. Maybe with Lamar, maybe not. And then next week, they got the Vikings. So it's a very unlikely scenario. I think the NFL.com has their chances at 10%, 15%, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly. Because it's only 2 games. So technically, they could win 2 games and lose 2. It's not we've seen crazier things, but it would be one of the crazier things we've seen in a while. So with that being said... This doesn't have much playoff leverage on either side. Of course, the game earlier today didn't have any playoff leverage on either side because the Cowboys got eliminated with the Eagles winning last week. So it's a tough game. And tonight we have a third-string quarterback.
And crowd going Skull.
So here we go, Skull. Listen, the Vikings fans will still be fired up. You know what I'm saying?
They're fired up.
Yeah.
They're sculling away.
Netflix special? I mean,
Max Brosmer.
Brosmer, right. Oh, how many backup quarterbacks are playing this week?
Yeah, McCarthy's out. 3.
All of them.
Every quarterback on the team that's been eliminated is
Actually, a lot of them are third strings.
Well, Wentz, that's true.
It's rough.
And the Dolphins are also down to the third string. Well, Wentz has been out the entire season practically. Right? But first of all, Teddy Bridgewater's the Dolphins backup. They are down to there. No, right, because I'm saying
Dolphins or Vikings?
No, the Dolphins also. I'm saying it. Meisty makes a good point. There's not only are there a lot of backups this week. There's a ton of third string quarterbacks, right? There's Ewers for the Dolphins is technically a third string, right? Because they had Teddy Bridgewater as a backup. Now, Teddy Bridgewater might be healthy, and they're just playing because they want to see what they have in him at this point in the season. It's just there's no reason to play Teddy Bridgewater. He's a hold down the fort type of guy. He's not a not a future type of guy. So anyway,
Bucks now.
Those Vikings. They are going nuts. They're fired up for this game. They're fired up. Wait, okay. Wait a second. Before we start with the headlines, where is everyone holding? Am I behind any of you on the streams? I'm on mobile vids.
I think
so
I'm the
with
most
you, Meisty.
behind.
I'm with you, Meisty.
Oh, I'm in a
All I know
commercial
is
break
that I
right
just
now.
saw the kickoff.
Are you watching
and,
it on Netflix,
it doesn't look
Yehuda?
pretty.
Yeah, I got
Yehuda-
the Netflix.
Yehuda's got it live. Oh, you're
You
like
just
2
went
minutes.
ahead. You just crushed us.
Forget
yeah, you
it.
just
Why am I-
crushed
Oh,
us.
sorry.
For why am I even watching? It's just-
I gotta share the login. I gotta.
wait. You're in a commercial. I'm just seeing the kickoff right
Yeah,
now.
the guy got hurt.
I saw the kickoff, and he didn't even make
He
a
just
return.
slipped
just
before he
went
got to
ahead.
the 25-yard. So you already saw a 3 and out, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I just went to commercial. I just managed went to
No,
commercial.
I think it's an injury to
Taking a
somebody.
podcast, everyone knows what happened. That they'll see it when they see it.
Yeah, but I'm still
true.
watching the game as a fan, and now
Yeah.
No. Oh, the guy got injured on the kickoff. All right, let's see if I can steal someone's Netflix login. Anyway, okay, let's get to the first headline I wanted to discuss, which of course was DK
Don't tell
Metcalf.
Netflix that you're stealing a login.
Yeah.
No. Steal is a strong word. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about DK Metcalf because now there was an interesting a conversation I heard this week, and people were kind of talking about it like, listen, at the end of the day, the man punched a fan in the face or hit a fan in the face, and he got suspended for 2 games, and we kind of all understand that, right? But like, one side of it is you're a professional. You know the fans are going to say crazy stuff at you all the time. Your job is to ignore it. If you react to it, you have to be held responsible. That's one side. The other side is he's still human. So if someone tells him, I don't know what the guy told him. He claims he just said his full name, right? So that's if he reacted.
There's proof and video of that. There's proof and video. Right. All he said was his legal name, and he was trying to get a signature from him. Like, come on, dude.
No, so if that's the case, then way overreaction. But like, if someone tells the guy, "I hope you die," it is a human reaction to snap back at it. I'm not saying you should, but like, there is a human element to it. So the question I want to ask you guys is like, is there a place for NFL players that if they snap back, it's not necessarily, well, Meisty, what do you think about that? Like, if NFL players snap back, even if something egregious was said at them, is it always out of place?
No. For example, I forgot who it was. Was it Hopkins, D-Hop, when he caught a touchdown or something, and the fan like hit him on the head, and Lamar like pushed the fan. I think it was in Buffalo.
Oh, that was crazy. I forgot about that.
Right, and like Lamar pushed the fan that like hit D-Hopper. I don't remember the exact situation.
Against the
but
Bills.
All I can tell you is that against the Bills, right? So that's somewhat of a reaction, an acceptable, like, he didn't hurt the fan. He didn't punch the fan. He was just like, yo, get off my guy. Don't do that. Right? He's kind of just letting him know, hey, don't do that. And it wasn't a hard shove. It wasn't a punch. It was just like, yo, whoa, get the heck out of here. What are you doing? So there is a limit to the reaction you can have. Now, for example, DK Metcalf this week. The guy's calling your name. The guy's just saying things. Even if he's saying things that you don't like. You have a huge field, a huge sideline. You literally have a walk the other way. He's not following you. The guy's not going to follow you to the other side of the field, right? So go to the other side of the bench. Go talk to your players. He was standing in the area that the fans are right there. He was standing behind the bench. What you don't like fans calling your name? Walk the other way. Go walk the other way. So what DK Metcalf did is, to me, outrageous, and I think way beyond the limits of reaction to what. Yeah, and again, there could be certain words said and certain things said that, not in this case, but in general, still the same thing of you don't grab a guy and punch him. You're a professional. You're talking about fans. We're talking about fans are crazy. They're drinking. They're a little crazy. We're fans. This is what we do. We always are trying to. We see a player at a game. We're always being, yo, Joe Flacco. We're always going to scream their name. So don't get upset when a guy calls your name, asking you for a signature, even if it's bothering you. It doesn't matter. And now I don't know how deep into the situation you've looked, but this situation with DK Metcalf is crazy because his contract.
Not deep. Enlighten me.
That was nuts.
His contract says that he could lose out his guaranteed money if he gets suspended. He can lose $45 million if the team wants to take it away from him. They take away $45 million.
How many games
now,
does he have to get suspended for that to take into effect?
Any game. One game it's a one game, any game that he misses due to suspension. You have to look deeper into it. I was looking at a surface level of it. I was discussing it last night with some people. But it's really crazy situation but I think the team's not going to do it to him. I don't think, and they could cut him also. Officially, they can let him go after the season and say, you don't get your guaranteed money because you got suspended and you played the whole season for us. And there's a whole bunch of things that the team now has control of that they can do if they want to move on from Metcalf, if they don't want to pay Metcalf. I don't know where the Steelers are going to do and what they're going to do. It's kind of a jerk move to, not pay your guy, and just because he did that, he played a good, I'd say a decent season for the most part of where their team was holding. So it's kind of, he's been a huge factor for them. So, hopefully I don't care what they do. I hope that they do whatever with him, suspend him longer. I don't care. But
out for the Ravens game if it matters.
Yeah, I hope that they just say, you know what, for the next 3 years or whatever, the rest of your contract, you can't play in the Ravens games.
Yehuda, I think that's a part of it, though. A part of it is that they suspended him for 2 games that very well could mean nothing. So, what impact does this have on the Steelers season? Probably very little. I think that's a part of it.
Well, maybe they lose to the Browns now somehow because their number 1 receiver is 47-year-old Adam Thielen.
True. It becomes more likely.
We'll see.
Also, they're missing TJ Watt.
Still very small. Yeah, still very, very small, but if the Ravens win on Saturday night, then you start to talk yourself into it. Be like, oh, maybe the Browns can do this.
100%.
Maybe this
Shador.
But his contract the guaranteed money can be voided because they have a clause in the contract that says if he fails to play with the club for any reason. So, if he gets suspended and he's getting suspended, they could void it. It's not that it will be voided, but they could get rid of his.
Yeah, they have the option. It's not automatically voided. Correct. You are correct. And the team has an option here to. Look, if the Steelers, they're not known to be a bad organization, but a bad organization would totally hop on it.
Bengals jump on this immediately.
Dude, a team there's some bad Bengals, right? The Bengals, dude, he would immediately be like, oh, save $45 million. I'm sure. There are teams out there immediately happy. I think a certain guy, Jerry Jones would pay. He wouldn't. But you know what bothers me? Why did he sign this contract? Why did he let that be? That's a weird clause. He's never been suspended before.
Maybe you have a bad agent.
Career. Yeah, definitely. If I was a player, I wouldn't want to stop. How easy it is to get. It's not easy to get suspended, but it's so easy to get suspended. You guys are their tempers are pretty. They can lose their tempers, or a little fist fight, and he, guy punches you, so you punch him back, and now you're both suspended again. Yeah, you headbutt a ref. Oh no, you're not a headbutt a ref. You're certain players.
Who did that again? Who was that? I remember that.
It was college. It was an Ohio State player or something that headbutt a ref.
Yeah, he didn't get ejected. That was crazy.
He didn't get a flag. There wasn't even a flag.
He didn't even get a flag? Oh my God.
No, because apparently afterwards they said he didn't mean to actually headbutt him. What was happening was he was trying to show the ref what he was doing, and the ref was kind of walking, and so he was showing him no, I just went like this, and he kind of went too far, and the ref was kind of moving, and it just zoomed into each other's heads. But yeah, that was a very funny moment. Then, and even the other two was I'm gonna flag the guy.
Yeah, you're not flagging.
I kind of feel
He's never been suspended before.
I don't think so. No, Metcalf. I don't think.
No, he's never been suspended before.
I don't think
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
Saying, Rocky, when you were missing.
No, I heard. I haven't had
thing that they just you can hear. Okay, good. Yeah, it's so weird that would be in his contract. Why would you want to, as a player, sign that? And it just makes no sense to me.
Well, you're saying from whose perspective? Contract. From whose perspective? You're saying from the Metcalf or from the Steelers?
For the player.
Metcalf. Yeah, you have the option to get $45 million from you. That's crazy. Why would you want to be in a situation that somehow, if you get suspended, a guy I don't think Jalen Ramsey suspended. It's Metcalf, who's never been suspended.
I don't think Metcalf.
Maybe
well, that's
all the player contracts.
That's probably why.
I don't know. I
Why
don't
he
think
signed
so,
it, because he hasn't had any previous character issues. So why would he assume? But like you said, Aaron, but tempers are high. Tempers are high, and emotions are high in NFL games. Obviously, it's like a lot of people are watching you. So for you to lose your temper in 1 second for one instance is not a crazy concept, and for you to put that in there is a little crazy. I completely agree with you. But
a guy that's been cool and calm for the most part, never has real issues. I mean, he's had a lash out or two maybe throughout the years in Seattle, but for the most part, he's been a cool, calmer guy, and he completely lost control for a couple seconds, and it actually hurt him.
4th and 8, they're not going for it. Dan Campbell, he's becoming lax all of a sudden.
What? Yeah.
But anyway,
I think he just
one more point I wanted to make here. The Steelers are not an organization that's known for like having guys with character problems in locker room, but like recently you've had guys like Antonio Brown and George Pickens, and George Pickens was causing a lot of problems last year in the locker room. Remember, that's a part of the reason they traded him away. And now you have this.
Always keep him around.
But it's kind of weird. They're not that type of organization until recently. Like for most of the Steelers' history, they're known as the team. They've only had 3 coaches, right? Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. They're a very stable organization. They're generally very successful. They have, they have almost more wins than any team in history. I think they're number 2 behind the Cowboys or something, like since in the Super Bowl era, something like that. I think in the Super Bowl era there might be 2 or 3.
They've accepted mediocrity now.
That's what I'm saying. The organization, correct. That's a good point, Yehuda, right? It's not just off the field, it's on the field too. Like the last 10 years, the Steelers organization doesn't look like the Steelers. It looks a little different. They haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. They're 9-8 and 10-7 every year. That's fine, but like they're not getting anywhere past that. And they're signing. They have Big Ben the last 3 years of his career, didn't do anything. They're signing guys. You got guys like Kenny Pickett late in the first round, and Mason Rudolph in the second round, and Russell Wilson at the end of his career, and Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career. Like these guys, some of them play decent, but like these guys are not gonna win you Super Bowls. So like the standard is the standard. The standard must be just barely getting a winning record, I guess.
Mid. The standard is mid. That's wonderful.
Maybe that's the standard. I mean, listen, like I said, the Jets would die to be 9-8 every year. They would. To have something to vote to root for every week in the NFL up until the last week of the season. There are half the teams in the NFL that would love something like that.
I hear that every time when the Ravens have a losing year, it really does give you perspective, because every year you expect them to win like
we're a top organization. We should be a best. Yes, we are a top organization. So
it's a standard thing. It's
I do expect it.
Let's go into the next topic. That's a great transition. I think for the Ravens, it's a standard thing, right? Because the Ravens have lost less than 8 games once in the entire era with Harbaugh. Once they've lost less than 8 games. You know how many teams, right? That's it. The 5-11 year with Flacco was the only time they lost less than 8 games. So they've pretty much always been in contention until the last. Well, that's the thing. The Ravens have had 1 year, basically 1 year, in the entire Harbaugh era where they have just not been in contention the entire season. Even this year, we're in week 17, they could still theoretically win the division. Yeah. Even when they were 8-9 with Huntley, they were 8-7 with 2 weeks left. They still theoretically could have won the division that year. So, like, there are very few years where the Ravens just are playing meaningless football in November. I mean, it's only happened once, the entire Harbaugh era. At the same time, we have all these calls for Harbaugh to be fired. And why? Well, one of it is, I think, what you guys are saying. It's like, we understand that the Ravens are still 7-8, but like the Jets have not been 7-8 in 10 years, right? But at the same time, it's a Ravens team that won 25 games in the regular season the last 2 years, and they've only had 3 playoff wins in the last 10 years, and people are frustrated with that. Why are you blowing leads? And I think it's all these different things piling up. And so, I mean, like, I'm conflicted about it, Yehuda, because on the one hand, like, Harbaugh is the 3rd most winningest coach in the league since 2008. But are you, like, when you're a team like the Ravens that is good every year, are you expected to have a higher standard, not just be good, but to be making Super Bowl runs every few years?
I think sometimes you got to get a new voice in the locker room, and I think it's happening with Harbaugh and Tomlin both. And I get that the standard is the standard, and teams would kill the Jets, the Titans would kill for 8 to 10 wins every year. But when you're a great organization like the Ravens and the Steelers, and you have a guy who's won a Super Bowl for you, but it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago for the Ravens. Sometimes it eventually turns into a "what have you done for me lately" business, and unfortunately, he may be hired right away by somebody else. He might be the top coaching hire available, but we've seen it consistently with the blown leads and stuff, and most double-digit or 7+ point fourth quarter losses since 2021, and that unfortunately is a culture and a mindset thing. And I think there comes a real change and a real thought process of, if we can get rid of him, like maybe then we'll stop blowing leads and stop, quote unquote, being like chokers in the playoffs.
I will say,
and maybe
I will say they have had by far more. They've had by far more 10-point leads than anyone in football in that span. By far, by the way. So one caveat on that.
Right, I know it means you're winning. You're winning all these
good
games.
players.
You're leading in these games because you have a good team, but you got to finish, and like good teams finish, and like I think there's something to be said of like once you get rid of the coaching staff, and then you could be like maybe we'll change our identity, because I think there's a little bit of starting to believe that this is the identity, is not coming up big in these big moments, and then honestly all it takes is 1 or 2 games where they blow a couple leads with a new coach, and then everyone would be like, oh, same old Ravens. But at least firing the coach and restarting will give you that little bit of hope and a little bit of juice that they need to turn this around, because their players are too good to be doing this. The Ravens have great players. Not the pass rush and the D line is very good, but like and the O line obviously struggling, but they're too good to not even be winning their division. Such a weak division this year too. Like you need new players.
I have a little bit of a different take. Similar, obviously, but different. I mean, I think it comes down to the fans, and a lot of fan bases. You got a coach who the Bills are a great example of this. He's not a great coach. Sean McDermott, he's okay. He's not great.
Yeah.
He's not the right coach for the job for sure. Not in Buffalo. He could go coach a team like Tennessee, and they'd be a 7 to 10 win team, and the fans would love it. But Sean McDermott, who every year he gets enough done, the fans almost are accepting it. Like, well, yeah, he's our guy. He's our guy. It's a business. No one's your guy. At the end of the day, Tom Brady didn't stay in New England for his whole career. At the end of the day, he went to somewhere else. And very few players. Ray Lewis was our guy. He stayed the whole time. He didn't go anywhere. So those are potentially different. It's a different style. But in the coaching world, if you're not getting the job done, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Try the next guy. Zach Brown's for the Bengals, right? He's been in that situation. He got them to the Super Bowl, and he's just, dude, you're not good. You're just not a good coach. Like, he has to go to the Texans, they have a good coach now, but go to a team that needs a coach who wants to be a 7-8 win team, and you are good enough for that, but you're not good enough to take a team to win it all. And there's very few it's hard to win it all. We talked about this a lot, Rocky, over there. It's hard to win it all. I think so. It comes down to a lot. The fans have to never, especially here in Baltimore, we don't really accept this mediocre. That's what happened in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the fans were like, yeah, we got winning records. Everybody, Tomlin's a good coach. And I don't hear many Steelers fans calling for his job a lot, but they kind of
they are
a lot of respect towards.
They are.
Yes,
like crazy.
Yes, in the last year, yes, I would say now. I would say yes now more than ever. But also, but I think that the fans for a long time, what they went from, let Big Ben finish his career. Then they went to this and that. Yeah. They just allowed themselves to get mediocre, and you accepted mediocre, and you became a mediocre team. You can't do that to yourself. And as a fan, you have to be calling loudly, like, yo, this needs to be changed. Now, I will say this. The Ravens made a huge mistake last year. John Harbaugh, I would have said yes. If it was this season, happened last season, keep John Harbaugh. Why? Last year was probably the best coaching changes of years. And you had the Ben Johnson, you had Mike Vrabel, you had Mike McDonald last year. So many options. And Mike McDonald, I mean, that's a fumble of all fumbles. The Ravens could have just been like, Harbs, move up to the front office. Or Harbs, it's time to go. We got a guy who's going to be here for years. Harbaugh doesn't have many years left. You could have had a young guy who knows what he's doing. Look what he's doing in Seattle. He's got them playing ball, fighting for the 1 seed. I mean, it's a whole different world in Seattle right now. So I think that the Ravens really messed that up. I don't know the coaching changes going on this year. I don't think there's many. I haven't really looked deep into it, but you're not going to find a really good coach right now. And I mean, you might get lucky, but
Matt Nagy is getting head coaching consideration again this cycle. It is not good coaching.
No, that's not right. Like that's not someone. And like
we're at the time of the year that Matt Nagy's getting coaching
to bring him in.
That's
correct.
Rough.
I don't want the Ravens to bring him in. I would want them to find someone else, and it's very hard. And you don't have an offense coordinator or defense coordinator that you can bring up either now. So you're kind of stuck in a bad position in Baltimore, and we might have to go through a couple of years. The Patriots are a great example. They went through with what's his name for 2 years, 3 years, just a bad coaching situation, and they're like, all right, Mike Vrabel's available, time to go, and that's what they did last year. They could have rode it out with their guy. He was their guy. They're like, a couple of years. No, they fire him and keep going. When there's an opportunity, you got to happen. It's a business. At the end of the day, if you're running a business and you hire somebody, and the first couple of years he brings you huge deals, but then the last 15 years he's not bringing you big deals and he's not making you money, you gotta let the guy go. Thank you for making me a lot of money 20 years ago, but you gotta go. This is a business. This is a true business situation.
That is true, but there's a difference between the Ravens and the Steelers the last 10 years. The difference is that the Ravens are utterly dominant in the regular season and the Steelers are not, right? The Steelers have just been an average team. They've won 9 or 10 games every year. They're scraping by. They're losing games they should be winning games they should be losing. They're just a confusing team. The Ravens, especially over the last 2 years and in 2019, like 3 of the last 5 years, have been the most dominant team in the regular season, pretty much, right? Lamar Jackson was unstoppable last year. The defense was unstoppable 2 years ago. 2019, everything was unstoppable. Receivers were running right open down the field, and they had Willie Snead. Like, there was no one there, and yet somehow they were, dialing up these play calls to have these guys 30 yards wide open down the field. Like, this Ravens team has been really good since Lamar Jackson has come into this team. So, what people don't like is that they haven't won a Super Bowl. Because if they've won 2 playoff games in the last 2 years, that's fine. Like, they've won 2 playoff games in the last 2 years. That's more than pretty much every team in the league, right? Think about it. This is why I'm saying it's a standard thing. It's not a lack of. It's not a lack of success thing. It's a standard thing. Because that's a different.
It's not even correct.
Put a pin in that, Yehuda, for a second. Go back to that in a second. But I just want to finish this thought, right? Because I think it's more of a standard thing because the Ravens have won 3 playoff games in the last 5 years, which is more than probably 25 other teams off the top of my head, right? Probably. Like, most teams don't win 3 playoff wins in 5 years. But we're all looking at it and be like, only 3 playoff wins in 5 years? You should be winning a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. What's going on here? So I think it has more to do with what our expectations than actual failures. That's my opinion. But go ahead, Yehuda.
The expectations are that because of what you said, because you see them running wide open and destroying people. And it's just like, just do that in the playoffs. Like, you destroy good teams. Like, 2023, they were so good. And they were like 8-1, 10-1. I remember they had one of the hardest schedules in the league, and they were still beating the Lions 38-6, right? When the Lions were at their peak. Dan Campbell, that Lions team went to the NFC Championship, and they played the Seahawks, who is Geno Smith, and they were pretty good. They weren't as good as the Lions, and then they destroyed the Seahawks. They ran down the Jaguars that year, who were a playoff team. They
the Niners, the Dolphins,
destroyed the 49ers. Yeah, the Monday Night Football game. They made that Brock Purdy, who's an MVP candidate, throw 4 picks, and he looked horrible. They made him look terrible. They got 5 interceptions. They're horrible. They're destroying everybody, and then just can't be freaking
number 1 seed on the line.
Consistently outcoached by Andy Reid. Yeah, number 1 seed on the line. They dropped 50. They had Lamar dropping back lefty.
Right.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
But just to ride on that point, it's also correct. It's also every time the playoffs come, so you won a game in the playoffs, it's the way they lose the playoff game. They're up 10 points. They're up points. They have an opportunity. They have this that all of a sudden, you pull, and I know we're going to talk about this soon, but all of a sudden we go in from, playing Derrick Henry's going crazy. Derrick Henry's running the ball like crazy. All of a sudden, he disappears for 12 minutes, and you're like, dude. Oh, and then it's the excuse that he makes in the press conference afterwards is even dumber than.
Yeah.
And it's like that, dude. I don't care if you're committed to the committee. If one guy's dominating the field and the other guy's name is Rashid Ali, you play.
I want to ask you a question about that. What do you think was a bigger factor in the Ravens losing the game? The 3 turnovers or Derrick Henry not being on the field for that one drive? I'm genuine question.
Derrick Henry not being on that field.
Then 3 turnovers, including one of which Derrick Henry gave away a touchdown.
Yes, because the last turnover is like, it was obvious. We knew he was going to fumble. Game was going to be over. But you're not in that position where you need Tyler Huntley to lead a game-winning touchdown drive. If you just run the ball out and run the clock out with them, and you win, staying with the lead. Getting soft on defense was the issue for sure to give up the touchdown. But then you run the ball out. They were running a fake punt on 4th and 10. They were running.
By the way, that was a horrible. That was an awful play call. But I disagree with both those points. They didn't collapse on defense. Drake May made one of the best throws I've seen in weeks to Kyle Williams. That touchdown was double coverage, great coverage, and he just dropped in an absolute bucket dime. It was a spectacular throw, and he's been doing that all season. Drake May, his downfield accuracy has been insane.
And we got away with murder. We got away with a murder.
Aside from that, even right, like aside from getting away with murder. But the Ravens. So everyone's complaining Derrick Henry wasn't in the second last drive because the last drive was a 2-minute drill. He's never running 2-minute drills. He's not a receiving back, right? So it was the second last drive that everyone's kind of complaining about. I went through the 6 plays again. I don't see much of an impact from Henry. I mean, I don't know what would have happened, but the first down.
You can't say that though, Rocky.
And you can wait. Let me go back. 6 plays. They went 6 plays
on the field at least.
They went 6 plays. They went the first down, 4-yard run with Keaton Mitchell. Fine. 2nd and 6 went incompletion. 3rd down, nice 10-yard pass to Nuke. They got the first down. So nobody has a problem with that. They got the first down anyway. Obviously, right? Okay, good. Next set, they went Keaton Mitchell, 1st and 10, got tackled in the back. The blocking fell apart. That would have happened with Henry. I don't really see what the difference is. Henry's not magical. He can't just he can't just get yards without blocking. In fact, if you know Derrick Henry has the highest negative EPA per play this year amongst running backs. He has a lot of negative runs this year because Derrick Henry's running style is very unique in the sense that he has to get downhill in order to get going. But the reason he gets stopped in the backfield a lot, because he's not the type of guy, we think of Derrick Henry as like the breaking tackles guy. Yes, in the open field, nobody's better at breaking tackles than Derrick Henry. Behind the line of scrimmage, without a head of steam, Derrick Henry cannot break tackles. It's actually very interesting. It's a very interesting part of his game, right? So therefore, in the backfield, Keaton Mitchell gets tackled because the blocking breaks down. Derrick Henry's not magically going to break tackles. It was 2nd and 11. Of course they're going to throw on 2nd and 11. They throw on 2nd and 11 70% of the time. Where's Derrick Henry affecting this drive?
It's not about the play calls. It's about the gravity of him being on the field and the mindset and the human element. I love all the numbers that I do, and I am a stats guy, but it's about the human element of being in the 4th quarter and your body wearing down in a huge moment, and a 255-pound man is going to run you over, and he's going to throw
but
you
again,
into the ground.
when would that have showed itself up? When would that have showed itself up? Like, if you're in a passing down,
it's not just about him playing. It's also about like him being on the field and affecting. I don't think play action is more. I could be wrong about this. I don't think play action is more effective with him rather than Keaton Mitchell on the field this year. Play action for the Ravens has been very good, regardless of who's on the field.
Play action.
I'm talking from an emotional aspect.
If you're running the ball 2-3 times in a drive, I don't care if you threw the ball for a first down. I'm telling you right now, you handed up to Keaton Mitchell 4 yards. Sure. But let's say Derrick Henry gets that same ball and runs for a touchdown. You just won the game.
Oh, so that's your entire claim because he might have ran for a touchdown instead of getting 4 yards. I'm sorry. That to me, that is a crazy theoretical. That is a crazy theoretical.
It's not crazy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Turning the ball over 3 times. Wait, turning the ball over 3 times.
7 yards of carry.
No, he had a great game, but again, situations matter too. Derrick Henry in that situation I don't see where he adds any value in the situation. Play action would have been probably the same because it's been the same all year. If he gets stopped in the backfield, he's been getting stopped in the backfield all year. I don't see where the extra yardage would have been. 2nd and 11, they drop back anyway, especially in that situation. So I don't really see theoretically where you could say some.
You could be right here.
Derrick Henry being on
You could be right here. I will say this. I promise the offense. At the end of the day, there's a lot of injuries. Falele is still playing, which by the way, I don't know whose decision that is.
That I agree with.
That is blatant, ridiculous, and it doesn't stop. And the Ravens are not. I don't care who you have back there. I don't care if he's not as good as Falele. Put another guy in there and let him try. Maybe you just get lucky.
Yes.
And the Ravens you do the guy. He's the worst player I've ever seen. And so I want to say this. It's not like I don't blame the offense so much, right? And with Lamar's been hurt, he has 11 injuries on the year. You know, you're not even supposed to get that many X-rays. You know, so in a year, so it's very dangerous. You know, he's gonna have radiation poisoning, and it's really not good. And I really have a problem with the defense. The defense, they have the names, they have players, they have athletes, and you have guys like Roquan, and you have guys like Kyle Hamilton. But yet, and Kyle Hamilton's been great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting any blame on him directly, but missed tackles. Marlon Humphrey can't even cover a rookie wide receiver. You know, you're giving up big plays. You're playing prevent defense, and every time I'm telling you, I sit there, I watch the games. Sitting with my friends, we're watching football, right? Fourth quarter, Ravens are up by 10. All of a sudden, defense comes out, they go into prevent, and we're all just like, well, we just lost. Because prevent defense is bad. You play prevent defense when you're up like 5 scores, okay? You play prevent defense when you're up 4 or 5 scores, and you know you're going to win the game. Not when you're up 2 scores, and there's 15 minutes to go in the game, and you're like, well, let's just play prevent because let them drive, we'll get the ball back. And what, I go 3 and out because you have Falele? It's ridiculous. And that defense is atrocious. It's the defense, and it's only the defense. And I don't know what they're going to do with, you know, they better cut Falele next year. I mean, the fans. I was at Ravens-Bengals game, and the one on Thanksgiving, and they lost. And I'll say this. I've never, in my entire life, seen a player, when they called him out of the tunnel, get booed. Since I was at Chris Davis opening day once, and they booed Chris Davis in Baltimore. And that was when he was struggling. But in the Ravens, I never in my life seen the entire stadium booed him. That is a clear indication if you're a coach. If you're a coach, you have to be like, oh my gosh, am I the only one not seeing how bad he is? Like, the fans are seeing it. The fans hate the guy. You're trying to sell the tickets to the fans. You got to cater to the fans a little bit. When they don't want a guy, you got to get rid of him.
But
if he was on the Packers, hold on real quick. If he was on the Packers, the yearly slip that they send out for their owners to vote on, you know, they all own the team.
Because they right.
It would say, get rid of Falele? Yes. 100% of them would say yes.
Shareholders. Shareholders.
The joint ownership over there. Micey, by the way, the Falele, I think he's been horrible. Him and Voorhees have been such a liability, especially in the passing game. But I think that
besides for Lindenbaum, the whole offensive line has been brutally.
Stanley just hasn't been healthy, but that's been really the big problem with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming Stanley. The offensive line has been bad.
They did have their O-line coach die, so like I think that is a huge part.
When?
That he died. He died right before the season. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
He was really good.
But that's my point, guys.
They've been horrible.
That is another point in this whole Derrick Henry thing. In this particular game, the O-line had success. And by the way, all year the Ravens are averaging 5 yards a carry as a team, right? Well, Keaton Mitchell is actually averaging 6.4 yards a carry, which is insane, right? But
it's clear that Derrick Henry is the hot hand, and as a coach, you have to make that decisions and be able to adjust to what's happening in front.
What does hot hand mean? I mean, I've seen guys play good for. I've seen guys play good for 3 quarters.
Mitchell had 1.4.
Right, because I've never seen anyone in my life play good for 3 quarters and poorly in the fourth. Never in my life. Could you think of anyone? I can't. Never happened.
Drake May.
That was the opposite. That was the opposite. They fed the hot hand when they did it.
Yeah.
Wait, who? Drake May?
Drake May all season is the best quarterback in the first quarter. Then as the game progresses, he literally goes from like throwing like averaging like 1.5 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then like the picks start moving up, and like it's like, and then like he has more picks in the fourth quarter than touchdowns. Obviously, until like 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, like we're talking like more picks in the fourth quarter than he's had thrown touchdowns.
Worked out very well for them when they
You have
gave
to
Derrick
fact
Henry in the
check me on
fourth
that,
quarter
but
against the Bills in Week 1. That worked out
Yeah.
great for them.
Yeah.
Averaging 9 yards a
mean,
carry. Averaging
I know,
9 yards
he
a
already-
carry in that game.
Derrick
9
Henry-
yards a carry.
He
His
already
best game of the season by
he
far,
already
by
had
the
his
way.
Fumble.
He
I
got
know,
it out of the
I know.
way.
He already had his fumble.
He got it out of the way. That's bizarre also.
No, Derrick Henry has struggled. Derrick Henry.
He never
I
fumbles.
believe Derrick
And all of a
Henry
sudden
would've
this year,
fumbled. I know. Yeah.
I also
I
thought that no,
he would have fumbled if he was in for that drive if he hadn't fumbled already. But he already fumbled, so he got out of the now. Just give it to him. Gonna run him over.
No, I have another problem with the Ravens also. This is on the offense. The offensive coordinator, or whoever the receiver coach. How many Zay Flower fumbles have happened like that this year where he tried to make a move and it gets punched out from behind, right? Dude, it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We don't need 3 yards right now. We need 20 yards. So you're not getting 20 yards there. Get down. Go straight. Get down. And that's something that's a coach. That's again, that comes from. And you could say, oh, that's the receiver coach. Well, who's the receiver coach's boss? That's the offense coordinator. Well, who's his boss? The head coach. And that's where and that's really where everything. And that's again the struggle of gotta be. You have to take responsibility, and it has to come down on Harbaugh, and it has to come down on his offense coordinator. Now, again, I don't really know, and I wish I had an answer to who our next head coach is. Maybe we hired Ehud Abaddon. I don't know. I really don't know who we're hiring.
I'll come in as an offensive assistant. Work my way up.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, we need a head coach there. And by the way, I am just going back to the Steelers. Something that we missed about the Steelers. I mean, we'll talk about it, I guess, if we talk about the Steelers-Browns game. But TJ Watt being out and DK Metcalf. I mean, should Dusty with the
I've never Dusty, please save us.
Our whole season comes down to Shedeur Sanders, and I think it's gonna be a very interesting situation.
One more thing on the Harbaugh. One more thing in the Harbaugh because we do want to go into the games. Yeah, but one more thing on the Harbaugh thing. Like you said, Meisty, this is the last point I was going to touch on. Listen, we all know that if the Ravens let go of Harbaugh, the Dolphins or whatever, the Jets will be all over him in 5 seconds. Obviously, right? I mean, you won't even be able to blink before they pick him up. So that's one side of it. And listen, at the end of the day, right? I mean, who knows? One of those teams, right? And at the end of the day, he's a good coach. He's had a very good NFL career.
Same with Tomlin, by the way. And if Tomlin gets let go, I would take Tomlin. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Tomlin has just a little bit more.
Well, that's the thing with firing.
That's crazy.
No, but I don't think these guys are going to get fired. Meaning I think they're going to leave and then leave the NFL. I don't see them going to
front
other
office.
teams.
Yeah.
Front office or Tomlin goes into media. He said he's interested in that or something. Or Harbaugh goes to college. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying I don't see them taking other NFL jobs just because when you're together for 20 years with coaches, it's just like the way Bill Belichick. He's not going to go to a different team now. So I just I don't know. I just don't see that happening. And also, like you said, Meisty, what's your alternative? Is the next guy going to be as good as Harbaugh? Probably not. Odds are not, because Harbaugh's been really good, right? All the problems we have with him, sure, we have plenty of problems with him. The fourth quarter leads and leading the lead in fumbles this year, and all those things, and with this weird thing with Lamar, which we didn't even touch on, but this weird relationship he seems to have with Lamar, and nobody could really prove it, but people are speculating about it. So that's one thing. But other than that, I mean, when it's all said and done, John Harbaugh is going to have a fantastic resume. He's going to have the third to most wins in his tenure.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
He's for sure a Hall of Fame coach. Fourth to most regular season wins, fourth to most playoff wins, and a Super Bowl in his tenure, which is considered a very successful 18-year tenure. So that's my only thing. What's the alternative? I don't see a great alternative. I don't see anyone coming in and being Harbaugh.
Hearing the Rams coordinator, the Vikings offense. It's always the teams playing well this year, one of the hot young coordinators.
Maybe we can get Jim Harbaugh.
One from one Harbaugh to the next, the one Harbaugh that can actually win.
You know what will happen though? Yehuda, by the way, your volume's a little low now. It was better before, but it's a little low now.
Okay.
You know what will happen though?
Now?
Jim, as with every team, and it always happens, he'll give him a boost for 5 years. Maybe they'll even make a playoff run, and then he'll fizzle out. It happens with every Jim Harbaugh experiment. He's a good coach. But
maybe, but also, I also want to say though, I think that before we move on from the Ravens, there is a lot of speculation of Lamar being traded. And I mean, I wouldn't love to see him be traded. I'm a big Lamar fan. Don't get me wrong.
He has a no
But
trade clause.
it is. I know, but if the trade is there for him and he's happy with wherever they're sending him, it could be something that he does and they do. And I don't think he's going to want to be traded. I think he likes his situation here in Baltimore because no one's really forcing him to do anything, and he shows up when he wants. And he's not a leader, and he's not a Super Bowl. He's not someone I want as a leader. You're showing about flathead,
Preston, Preston, you're trying to bait me. You're trying to rage bait me.
I don't think he's a good leader. You know what it is? Look, when the team's on the sideline, right? When he's on the sideline injured, where's Lamar Jackson? He's just chilling.
He was out there the second half of the.
I'm talking about in the games when he misses. The whole beginning of the season and middle of the season when he was missing games, he wasn't out there with a headphone in and talking to the quarterback and Cooper Rush and Huntley.
Ooh, your lighting. Where did you move to? Meister, your lighting is way better now.
My lighting got better. Yeah, I was standing up before, and now I'm sitting.
Sorry to interrupt. Your lighting is way better now. Big, continue.
Yeah. I was in the dark. I like being in the dark. I actually have this ledge on my back. It's hurting, but it's okay. I'll survive for the boys.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
But I don't think Lamar is a true leader in that aspect. I love Lamar Jackson. Don't get me wrong. That's not a leader. That doesn't make him a leader. That makes him an excellent player. He's not a team. A quarterback is meant to be. Think about quarterbacks who have been super successful in the NFL and won MVPs and Super Bowls and taken their team to the next level. At the end of the day, even the Jalen Hurts, who's not even that good of a player, right? You want to put Jalen, he's okay. He's not a good player, but yeah, he's a great leader. He sits in the games. He's in the practices. He's in the facility. He's telling the guys. He's talking to the players. Lamar Jackson doesn't say. He's not sitting there yelling at. He's got to be the one to take the team to the next level. The Patrick Mahomes is in the leagues. The Peyton Mannings and those guys, the Brady's and those guys, they really took the whole team to another level. His team, they make players around them better. The greats, right? You can give Mahomes any receivers, and they look good. Why? Because he makes them better.
You can do that with Lamar too.
Lamar Jackson is not out there.
You can do that with Lamar too.
Hollywood and Willie Snead.
That's because he's a good player. That means that he put up a stat line. He put up a crazy stat line.
Makes him a leader. It makes the other guys a leader.
No, it's not. No, he didn't. He didn't elevate Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is much better actually with Patrick Mahomes than he was with Lamar Jackson.
No, he's not.
He's just not very good overall.
No, he's just
he's player in general. Hollywood's just a bad player. But I'm saying.
But they had tremendous success through the air with.
Better as a chief.
Yeah,
I agree. Lamar Jackson's a great player. Then you get to the playoffs, and he's not elevating. You have to elevate. You can't just be a good player. You have to elevate the team, and you have to be involved in. When Mahomes is hurt, he's on the sideline with a headpiece in.
I think that it takes different time. It takes different moment or different timelines for different players. Like Peyton Manning didn't win a Super Bowl for 9 years either, and to give up on Lamar a year after he had one of the best fourth best passer rating of all time and like an insane season, and that when he's just clearly injured all this year. I know you're saying that when he gets injured that he's not a leader, but like Lamar's growth in the playoffs is coming, and he played really well and led the game-winning drive.
I do agree. I'm not
in the playoffs, in the cold, out of number one receiver. Mark Andrews just dropped it.
I agree. I'm not on the team. I'm not on that boat of get rid of Lamar. I'm not. I want Lamar. I want him to stay. I'm not on that boat. I was just saying what is out there and what the speculation of, and because there could be an offer. There could be an offer from Miami.
What's your alternative? What's the alternative to Lamar? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. I agree with you guys, and that's 100%. Unless you're getting a Joe Burrow or you're getting someone of that caliber, you're not really looking to move on from Lamar Jackson. And someone's like, oh, well, how about if the Dolphins offered 3 first-rounders and Tua? I said, no. As soon as you added Tua into it, the answer is no. I wouldn't want Tua. I'd take 3 first-rounders. I'd take 4 first-rounders. But you put Tua in there, now you just cut up the whole deal. I don't want freaking Tua. I want Lamar Jackson.
They should add another first-rounder just so that the Ravens take Tua off their hands.
and pay his contract. His contract in sports, actually,
Crazy.
Deshaun Watson. But and then,
Never do that.
if Joe Burrow, like for example, if Joe Burrow's on the move, and the Ravens and the Bengals somehow made a deal, which would be an absolute craziest thing to ever probably happen, and probably the craziest trade. Obviously we're speculating and we're way off track here, but if Joe Burrow got traded for Lamar Jackson and whatever other pieces were in it, that's a trade. Yeah, I'm all in. I'll take it. Like, I'll take a Joe Burrow. Is he as good as Lamar Jackson? Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have the threat that Lamar Jackson shows you, but Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. So I'm not going to say no. If the Harbaughs decided to trade their quarterbacks, I'm not going to say no to Justin Herbert, but I would take Lamar Jackson over Justin Herbert. Don't get me wrong, but Justin Herbert's a feasible quarterback that's talented, and I'm not opposed to these guys. Again, yes, if you're telling me, well, your next option is Geno Smith, yeah, obviously I'm not doing that.
Well, that's the realistic. That's the reality, right? If you part ways with,
it's not worth it,
right?
Unless it's Joe Burrow, who's probably on the move. That's the only other.
Yeah, but again, they're not going to do an interdivision trade. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do interdivision.
I mean, you can, and the Bengals are stupid enough to, but the Ravens are not stupid enough.
Well, Mike Tomlin was shocked that the Browns traded Joe Flacco.
He was so pissed.
He was like, he's good enough to be your opening day starter. And by the way, he knew something because that week he came and balled out against the Steelers and they beat him.
He was right. Well, I mean, he's right. He's
Mike Tomlin knows.
Play Jake Browning.
Mike Tomlin knows exactly what's going to happen, by the way, during the game. Like, he has a feel for it in the week. He's like, I'm telling you, Joe Flacco, this trade, the Browns are stupid. And we're all like, Joe Flacco, he sucks. And he goes out there and balls out against the Steelers. And then it's like, he has that smirk against who'd they play earlier this week? Against the Colts. He had that smirk in his press conference where he's looking like, yeah, we got a good game plan. Don't worry. Yeah. And everyone's like, really? The Colts are 8-1 and you're sitting here at 4-4 and you think you're going to beat the Colts? Meanwhile, 5 turnovers. That's how we're going to beat the Colts. Like he just knows. He knows. He knows what's going to happen.
Rocky wants a John Harbaugh for Mike Tomlin. Bad.
I listen. I've always been a big. I happen to very much enjoy watching Mike Tomlin's press conferences. It's the funniest thing ever. They're trying to get everything out of him, and he's like 3-word answers. Didn't play well enough. Didn't show up on offense. And he's like, and like the last, like, do you think Aaron Rodgers played poorly today? We didn't play well as a unit, as an offensive unit, as a whole. I'm not going to put blame on any individual player. We didn't play well as an offensive unit. It's like you didn't answer the question whatsoever, but that's fine because that's his job. To not
I know that people don't like that. There are a lot of people that are anti that. A lot of people are anti, like, don't answer, how does you not answer, bad. I think it's great. I love it.
I think it's hilarious. Like, I watch it for entertainment.
It's like when Greg Popovich used to be like, Greg, what's the better? Well, we got to score more points than them. Thanks, man. What's the plan? What's the game plan for the second half? Yeah, score more points than them. Like, thanks, Greg.
I like when the coaches get mad, like when they ask Saban I remember something with the quarterbacks with like Tua and stuff. And he's like, "Will you name a starter?" Right after the game, like they won a game, and he's like, "I'm not gonna, so quit asking." And he's like,
I like earlier in the
here and there, it's like mostly non-answers or one like huge outburst. So
no, there was a question to Tomlin this year that said, Mike, why didn't you were playing cover 2, why come you didn't switch out? Like, the guy, like, read the whole, like, told them the whole play, like, there were tricks, and they cover 2, and he's like, that's impressive, but I'm not going to answer our game plan here. Like, what?
Oh, my gosh.
Like, why are you asking me?
He is, I'm telling you, I watch him for entertainment purposes only. And by the way, you could tell, like, when they lose, he's pissed, and when they win, he's actually, like, not happy, but he's at least not pissed. You know what I'm saying? I think he's monotone.
I mean, Last week against the Lions, he was just standing there like, did we win? Did we lose? What are they calling here? Oh, we win.
Do you think he's surprised when they won that game? He was probably just as surprised as us. Yeah.
Yes, I think the whole field, I think both sidelines were like, you called a touchdown, but you called PI, but you called a touchdown.
That was wild.
There's nothing. It was disgusting. I mean, as Jersey Jerry from Barstool said, he's a big Steelers fan. He was like, I think the referees got together and they were discussing how can we get the Lions this win here, and they just ran out of options. And then 10 minutes later, like, oh well, sucks to suck. And I was like, I actually thought the opposite. I think they got together like, what rule can we make up so that the Steelers win here?
Well, if
that was what
it would have been more
called out.
beneficial for the NFL to get the Lions to win, so that Ravens Steelers Week 18 you could have set that matchup up, Sunday night. Now they're gonna have to put Panthers
I
Bucks
mean,
Sunday
you
night.
still had that matchup. No, you still have a great matchup opportunity for that.
Yeah,
Theoretically,
anyway,
you'll find out after this
let's
week.
go. Let's segue to the game. So we have 7 games we want to get, 7 or 8, whatever. We'll figure it out afterwards. You can count for yourselves. So let's go. We're gonna start with.
Should we break it up right now? Should we go?
I'll break it up after.
right
I'll
now?
break it up after if I want to. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna break up all the individual games and put them out there. If you guys haven't noticed out there on YouTube, I put all the games out there in individual previews. So if you don't want to see the whole thing, you can if you just want to see your team, then you can just go. I'm sorry, we will not be previewing Dolphins with the Bengals Cardinals this week. So apologies for that. Anyway.
Oh man!
Game of the week. What are you talking
Nothing.
about?
I mean, yeah. Anyway, Jacoby Brissett's really been. Anyway, no digressions. So Texans Chargers, which is by the way a sneaky good game, and they put this at 4:30, which is a fascinating slot. 2 weeks ago when they scheduled this, they put Texans Chargers at 4:30, Ravens Packers at 8:00, and we're both like that Packers game might mean nothing. Now it happens to be a meaningful game for the Ravens, all in all, but it's less meaningful than probably it could have been. So Texans Chargers sitting here at 4:30 is sneaky. But anyway,
or holding Minnesota up 7-0 right now. I know if you're listening.
Yeah, I was about to say. I just
what
checked the
happened.
score. I'm like, what are we doing? Where are the Lions?
Lions fumbled twice so far.
Lions.
Lions fumbled twice so far.
They fumbled twice.
Yep, fumbled twice.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's a brutal.
Anyway, so Yehuda, Texans Chargers. What chance do you think the Chargers O-line has against this Texans pass rush?
Oh my God. Yeah, sometimes I love watching good competitive games, and it's amazing to watch the back and forth, and like you don't know what's going to happen. But then there's an element of football that I think like us, big fans of the game. I think you guys would agree with me on this. That you like seeing like one guy just absolutely obliterate, or one unit absolutely obliterate another unit, and like this has the potential to see like one of the best defenses in the league against one of the worst O-lines, probably worse than the Ravens, but also because they're on like 3rd and 4th stringers and 7th stringers, and it's about even with the Ravens starting lineup. But an incredible defensive line that is playing a unit. Offensive line did not give up any sacks to the Cowboys last week, and I know the Cowboys pass rush isn't very good, and Jerry said he wants to stop the run, so that's why he traded away Mike Hill and traded away one of their best pass rusher. But they got no sacks against the Cowboys, so it means like Greg Roman, for all his faults, he can maybe dial up some quick passing game. And for me, the Chargers defense is also pretty good, and the Texans offense is pretty bad. They struggled against the Raiders last week, and I think that was just classic trap game. Like you expect going in with your like C- game that you can still win, and they still won. They still beat the Raiders, and they probably were snoozing through it for the 2.5 quarters, and they finally realized, like, oh man, this is too close against the Raiders, and they still won. So, I think Texans will get up for this game because they know this is a big game for seeding and potential division. Like technically, both teams still have a chance at division. They need a lot of help and they need to win, but if they're motivated and they're ready to go, they can really impact this game on defense. But I'm a little nervous of their offense, like against a opportunistic and strong Chargers defense. That I'm kind of leading Chargers, but like if CJ Stroud is on, like then their defense should be enough to shut down the Chargers offense. But it should be a very fun game.
Agreed.
Very excited for this.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything there as well. I don't. This is one of those toss-up games that I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans won, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers won, and it kind of just, it is what it is. I do think the Texans win somehow. I don't know how. I do think that Nico Collins just kind of just their hope that like he just can really, really, really play well, but that's like. What was it? Was it last week during the Cowboys game? The announcer was like, he didn't have anything to say. And he was just like, who do the Eagles play? Who do the Cowboys play last week? Forgot who the Cowboys. So it was the Chargers, right? He's like, the Chargers are really going to focus here on C.D. Lamb and George Pickens, and it's like, yeah, no, duh. Like,
Great
like,
insight.
yeah, that's kind of odd. Yeah, like, what do you? No, they're just gonna let them go. Like, so I think, like, but again, it is that Chargers. That is that style of the Chargers where they do focus on that player, and they're going to watch where Nico Collins goes, and they're going to make you throw it to other players. And it's gonna be hard for C.J. Stroud not to just be able to throw the ball up in the air and say, "Hey, Nico, go get it." He's going to be covered. The offense is going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle. I think they'll run the ball a bit. Not that the Chargers are great at all of that, but they might be able to push the ball on the ground a little bit. It's going to be probably a very low scoring affair. I do agree. I think, but again, I think the Texans pull out a win somehow just to make the NFL interesting. The fix the fell. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers beat them.
Yeah, if you look at the matchups here up front, the Chargers have the dead last run blocking grade in the league and the 30th pass blocking grade in the league. And the Texans have the second best pass rushing grade in the league, only behind the Rams, I think. So, obviously, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, it's an insane pass. Yeah, I mean, that's about as like we look at matchups every week, and that's about as mismatch as it gets. But at the same time, you guys are right. Like, it's kind of strength on weakness on both sides of the ball. The Texans offense has struggled to get their groove, and anyone outside of Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud has kind of had a difficult time developing a connection with. So the Chargers can take away the number one receiver, make life difficult on C.J. Stroud. Like you said, Meisty, low-scoring game. I think the over-under they had for this one is 39.5. So, yeah, I mean, Vegas is expecting to be pretty low-scoring. But I've been picking against the Chargers all year. Chargers favored by 2 here, and I'm going to have to do it again. Listen, wow. Justin Herbert has found a way to overcome 4/5 of his offensive line being. I mean, Joe Alt got injured very early in the season, and then since then it's been all downhill. And I think four of their 5 starters on offensive line have been injured.
Slater before the season.
Slater was even before the season, so they started by week 4 or 5. 2 of their starters already were injured. So, but he's gotten the ball out quickly. He's moved around in the pocket very well. He's used athleticism. Like, he's done a good job overcoming it. But against the Texans, I mean, this is going to be an interesting test. You got the Texans and the Broncos last 2 weeks of the season for the Chargers. So I just see that as too big of a mismatch. I'm going with the Chargers. What about you, Yehuda? I'm going with the Texans. What about you, Yehuda?
Yeah, it would be very classic Chargers to lose this game, but I'm afraid of the Houston offense. Like, both of them, I know that, like, Justin Herbert's going to be under pressure all day, but if you watch that Chargers-Eagles game, that Monday night game, there was a point, like a quarter and a half or 2 quarters into the game, where they had a 71% pass rush or pressure rate, 71% pressure rate. It's like the highest they'd ever tracked. Justin Herbert literally running for his life, running
every play.
And then they won. And they somehow won that game.
I know.
So, like, that's, like, different than Chargers usually do. And, yeah, no, I keep going back and forth here. I know they don't have a huge home field advantage, but it is in SoFi. And so just not playing on the road, even though they pretty much play every game on the road. But I don't know that, like, Texans fans travel like that. Like, I think their offense is going to be too much to overcome the Texans' offense. Chargers will make just enough plays on offense. Keenan Allen on a big 3rd down against Stingley or Lassiter. And I think they'll win, like Micey said, low-scoring game, like, 17-13, 16-13 type game. So I'm going to go Chargers here. And the good Harbaugh coach for the first 5 years that he's on the team. But, yeah, I'm going to take Chargers.
Meister, what do you think? Chargers by 2.
Yeah, I have the Texans winning this one. Like I said, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. We got the Seahawks and the Panthers, and this has some interesting leverage, Meisty, because I don't know if you've been playing around with the playoff machine with the Panthers situation over here, but basically, the Panthers win and the Bucks win. This game means nothing for the Panthers. There's a good chance this game is meaningless, right? Because they'll probably have to win in Week 18. In order for the Panthers to clinch, they have to beat the Seahawks, unlikely, although who knows with the Panthers this year. And then they need the Bucs to lose to the Dolphins, unlikely also. In all likelihood, it'll come down to that last game of the season. But it's still a big game. Listen, the Seahawks, if the Seahawks win this week and the Niners win this week, we have a potential number 1 seed on the line. That, by the way, Meisty, that will probably be Sunday Night Football over Panthers-Bucs. Even if Panthers-Bucs is for the division, that's way more fun. Niners-Seahawks for the number 1 seed on the line. I think that they'll probably more likely to put that number 1 that Sunday night either way. But anyway, Meisty, do you think the Panthers have
Saturday night?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's a little more likely to put Panthers. But I broke this down earlier in the week when I posted the video in the playoff machine. How I think Panthers-Bucs, because of it's not a highly anticipated game. Let's say it's winning in. Put it Saturday night. Seahawks Niners for the number 1 seed. That's great. That's like treasure right there. So anyway, Micey, do you think the Panthers have a chance to beat the Seahawks in this year game?
No. Sam Darnold, though. It comes down to that. Can the Panthers? Sure, 'cause Sam Darnold's there. And Sam Darnold has proven to do this exact thing more than once in his career, where all of a sudden, he's starting to see ghosts again, and he can't do anything, and all is downhill. And but I think that even with, and it happened earlier, even when he throws a bunch of picks, that defense has been really good. I mean, they figure out how to get the job done, and I'm a big Mike McDonald guy, so I think the Seahawks win easily here.
Yeah, Carolina is a hilarious team. Like, I do agree with you, Rocky. I think ultimately will end up being me when Carolina and Tampa Bay play head-to-head 2 times less. But they're 24th in DVOA. They're ranked 20th or lower in everything. And offense and defense. They come into games where they're minus 14.5 against Packers and the Rams. And they beat them somehow. And then they lose to Tyler Shuck. It's like, you literally have no idea what you're going to get every. But that being said, they are not going into Seattle. Oh, Seattle's coming to Carolina. West Coast, East Coast. I think here's what I'll say. Yeah, Seattle can't lose to them. Seattle's still playing for the 1 seed, playing for the division. They are gonna struggle to come out, and like the only way I could see the Panthers' path to victory is if on these Sammy Darnold picks, that could happen if they start slow or if you start seeing ghosts. They need to bring it back for a touchdown. Like,
their offense is not good enough to do much against their defense, so they need to, get a little lucky and create points on defense. But either way, Seattle should pull ahead late, and they'll win, I think, by 7 to 10 points, and then that'll set up a last week for the Panthers and Bucs to play for the division where anything could happen, because then it's just 1 game. But yeah, Seattle has number 1 defense by DVOA. They're going to win, and they're going to win, I think, double digits pretty handily.
Yeah, so Bryce Young's been playing pretty good football the last 5 weeks. Other than against San Francisco, he had a pretty bad game. But if you take that game away, the last 4 games, 11 big-time throws, no turnover-worthy plays, very efficient, 80 passing grade. And Bryce Young's kind of one of those. I mean, in general, the Panthers are a very confusing team, as we've discussed, right? Like, you get swept to the Saints, and then you beat the Packers and the Rams. What? Like, in the same season? It makes absolutely no sense. And not only did they get swept to the Saints, they made maybe the stupidest hit on a quarterback sliding with 9 seconds. Like, the clock might have ran out. Maybe not. The Saints might have had enough time to snap. But either way, like, what? That was one of the most boneheaded plays you've ever seen, and that's how they lose a game. And they come out the next week, and Bryce Young played very well in the 4th quarter last week against the Bucs, and they pulled it out. So they're a very confusing team. They alternate between wins and losses every year, which means they're going to win the division, but they're going to lose this week. So yeah, if you go Seahawks, that's it. There's no you could throw logic out the window with the Panthers. The Seahawks front 7 against the Panthers offensive line. Like, yeah, it looks like a mismatch, but it probably won't be in this game. Like, nobody knows. And then Bryce Young goes out there the first 5 weeks of the season. It's like Bryce Young's back to rookie Bryce Young, looking less like sophomore Bryce Young. And all of a sudden, the last 5-6 weeks is like, oh, look at this. All of a sudden, Bryce Young looks like he should be the number 1 overall pick. It's like, I can't figure this team out anyway. And Tedero McMillan sometimes looks like the best receiver in football, and other times looks like the worst. So No, it's confusing. It's
Like
confusing.
a rookie.
It's a confusing team, but which is why matchup-wise, I just throw matchups out the window when it comes to the Panthers. No analysis in this game whatsoever. All I'm saying is that the Panthers alternate wins and losses. They're 7-point underdogs. The Seahawks are favored by 7. I'm picking the cover. What about you, Yehuda?
Yeah, you said it's Seahawks -7.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seahawks win and cover.
Meister.
I'm going to
You're
go
saying
with
Seahawks win, Panthers cover.
Seahawks win and cover, and I think that we're all going to be wrong, but I'm going to pick that also.
You're right, because it's the Panthers. They're going to somehow win. Oh, my gosh, stupid Panthers. I mean, I have nothing against the Panthers, just they're annoying to talk about. So, the Jaguars, Colts, next game. Now, this game has playoff leverage on both sides, but less so with the Colts. The Colts, I believe, need 2 wins and the Texans to lose out. That's the scenario, right? They're playing the Texans next week. Aren't they? Are the Colts not playing the Texans next week? Yes, the Colts are playing the Texans next week.
Yes, Colts next week.
So in theory, wait a second. Am I wrong
They're
about this?
not beating the Jaguars and the Texans.
Okay, but you're right. Whether or not, but I didn't even think about this. Whether or not this is realistic is a different story. But if they beat the Jaguars and the Texans lose to the Chargers, which could happen, is that win or go home? Is that win or go home next week?
I'm going through it.
It is.
I'm going through it right now.
Yeah, plug that into the play. Meisty, what did you run through this? I didn't even think about this because Old Man Rivers is out. I mean, it played pretty well last week. What?
Have Texans losing out and Colts winning out, and somehow Texans still are, or Colts aren't making the playoffs. So I need to check what's going on.
I think the Texans are clinched.
No, I don't think so.
No, they're not. No.
Colts have a 4%. Wait, here's what's happening.
You're right.
Need to beat Jacksonville and Houston.
1 of 2.
The Chargers need to beat the Texans, and then also they need strength of victory. So because of strength of victory, because they'll have the same exact thing on head-to-head division, common record, and conference record with the Texans. So then they also need the Broncos to beat the Chiefs, the Packers to beat the Ravens, the Dolphins to beat the Bucks, the Eagles to beat the Bills, the Bears to beat the Niners, and the Falcons to beat the Rams. So they need all of that.
Wait. That's what they need, like some crazy thing, like
it's not accurate.
So it's not simple. Meaning, but could there be a way that going into Week 18 that's win or go home? That's what I want to know.
At least one of those outcomes need to happen, and they need to beat the Jaguars, and the Texans need to lose to the Chargers.
So if
so
the
all
Texans,
those games I listed, not all of them have to happen, but at least one. So I was wrong. I thought it was all of them. But
okay,
at
fine.
least one. Then I think it could be.
So if the Colts beat the Jaguars this week and then the Texans lose, that is winner, and one of those other things happen, then it's automatically win or go home next week against the Texans.
I think so.
See, I didn't even, when I was breaking this down on Week 18, I didn't even think about this because Phillip Rivers, I just didn't, But by the way, played pretty well against the Niners. Now, okay, the Niners again. Talk about injuries. Fred Warner and Nick Bosa have both been injured the entire season, and the starting defensive tackle's been out most of the year as well. So they've had a bunch of injuries. But Phillip Rivers, listen, against the Seahawks, I didn't actually think he played that well, but I guess good enough to keep him in the game. And Darnold has kept them in the game as well. But he actually played well last week. Like, I was actually quite impressed. He dropped back 37 times and slinged the ball over the field. Like, he threw a couple nice passes down the field. Him and Alec Pierce had a connection going. They had a nice touchdown in the middle of the field, nice corner route on third down. Like, I was actually pretty impressed with him. I didn't think we were going to see that. His form looks off. Everything, he's like pushing the ball.
Oh my gosh.
It looks he's
crazy.
He's an oversized individual. Obviously, has not been taking care of his body to the extent that he was when he was in the NFL. That's clear. But by the way, he admitted that. This is not something I'm saying. He said that. Yeah. He's been letting loose a little bit. So listen, and by the way,
I just love how you put that. That was so funny.
He's a Zadie. He's a grandfather, and he's got 10 kids, and he plays football with his kids. And you know what I was thinking? The Rivers family have a built-in football team. 11. Yeah. A built-in football team. Meisty, can you imagine wherever you go? Just bring your cousin who also has 11, and then boom, you got 11 on 11.
Oh, dude. Free football game. That's awesome.
That's crazy. That must be fun anyway. I don't even know why Rivers wanted it. Why did he want to come back to the NFL? Go out there and play 11 on 11 with your anyway. So yeah, I think that
He needed the health insurance.
that's the real right. That's the real reason.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at here is that Colts Okay, let's say we have Colts Texans next week, win or go home. Let's say we have Bucks Panthers, win or go home, and we have Rams Niners Seahawks win or get the number 1 seed, which also is a very big possibility. What does the NFL do?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Nobody cares about Colts Texans. That's not, you can't.
So you're saying that's 4:30 Saturday?
Yes, that's a good call. That's what they do. Is that make it interesting. Only if the other games in the final week don't matter, because I'm going through the playoff machine and I was changing those games, the ones that I listed with all those other games, and I had the Colts winning both games and the Texans losing both games, and it still is putting the Texans in. So either the playoff machine is wrong or this article is wrong.
I'm seeing otherwise. I'm seeing that if the Colts win this week, Texans lose, and then the Colts win next week, they're in.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And my playoff machine is not showing me
interesting.
the Colts being in as the 7th seed, so I don't know what's up.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't go through that scenario, but anyway, there is a possibility that might exist. And then if you have Ravens Steelers somehow on top of that, this is just going to be a mess next week in a good way. And by the way, not only that, this is another thing I pointed out is that if the Texans do lose and the Chargers win, you could set up a win and get the number 1 seed in the AFC next week if the Jaguars lose. And that scenario would happen because the Colts beat it, right? So like there could be some crazy, right? And the Patriots have to lose to the Jets. That's a whole different story. But I'm just saying, in theory, you could have some absolute wild scheduling stuff next week if everything falls into place, which generally speaking, this is late in the NFL. You have more clinches, more this. Only one division is clinched, I think, in the entire league. The Eagles are the only one, I believe. So there's a lot yet to be decided. But anyway, I think this is going to be an interesting game. I don't think the Colts are quite going to be able to. The Jaguars are playing good football. Listen,
I don't think they'll even be able to. Yeah, I don't think they'll even be able to beat.
Right. No, ultimately I agree. It's probably a moot conversation, but listen, Rivers played pretty well. The Colts do have a competitive defense. They do have playmakers. I've discussed this all year, but the thing about the Jaguars that gets me is like they kept their heads above water for most of the season without Trevor Lawrence playing at a high level. These last 3 weeks, him and Jacoby Myers have really developed a connection there. Like he's been playing well. He's been playing up to his number 1 overall pick potential. So with that being said, 6.5. I am going to go ahead and pick the Jaguars to cover. What do you think, Yehuda?
Yeah, I got to take Jaguars to win and cover. So win by 7 to 10 points. Jacksonville and weighted DVOA, which is like tracking more of the recent, throwing out some of their earlier, like you said, Rocky. Great stretch. Trevor's playing like number 1 overall pick, and defense is solid, taking away, getting takes and stuff. All that stuff with the small market stuff. I think Sean Payton said that as a compliment to him when they took it as an insult. But Jacksonville's on still, I think, has like a small path at the 1 seed, so they're still going to be fighting hard. They're going to be fighting their division. Indy can't beat them in Jacksonville, but you know they have a little bit more success against Jacksonville in Indy, but it's still old man Rivers out there, and Colts defense could not stop anybody last week on Monday night. They were just letting Purdy go up and down the field on them, and I don't know that, Liam Cohen's a very good offensive coach. I don't know that he's as good as Kyle Shanahan for scheming and everything, but Trevor Lawrence is playing well enough that
Jags should be able to win this game and cover 6.5, 7.
Yeah, I mean, Jags have a shot at the 1 seed. We're this is a good team, and I mean, he can win. Liam Cohen, it's a long shot, but there's coach of the year. If he gets that 1 seed somehow, so I think they're playing for a lot here. They're in the playoffs, so they're not worried much more than that. But I think that the Jags win and cover here as well.
Dan Campbell
Fourth
going
and
for 4th and goal.
For the Vikings or for the Lions.
Yeah, you saw it already, right? I just see a 4th and goal.
I'm seeing it right now.
Okay, so don't say what happened. Let us be surprised. Okay, next game.
I'm not reacting.
Next game is Which game did we have next on the schedule
Reaction.
here? Oh, this is a live reaction.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
No, I did not. 1 second, no. They brought Penei Sewell on the field. We're going to go Eagles-Bills next.
Can you bring us down this play-by-play? Because I can't. My phone's not loading the game.
Oh, here we go. 119.
Do you want play-by-play? Yeah.
No, I don't want play-by-play. I want to see what's going to happen. They just did 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Are they going to let it go?
So
They're going to hold
Rocky,
time
you
out.
have to do the
What's a
play-by-play.
Rocky play-by-play? I want Rocky
Yeah,
to
Rocky,
give
you
me
gotta do the
I'm not watching
play-by-play.
it right now.
4th and goal for the Lions at the
Rocky, you always
4th.
want to be an announcer.
Me? I didn't always want to be an announcer. I like doing podcasts.
You and
better.
Donald Trump.
I like
No,
oh,
you
yeah,
and Donald Trump. One of you could be the.
Not to throw shade on the president, but I would be a better commentator, as would all of you, than Donald Trump.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, Jim.
I think
Jim.
the best was when he's talking about Jaden Daniels. I think he's been good. The backup's been pretty good too. Gosh, doesn't know anyone's names.
I really liked this past week, last week when Tony said, "Here we go, Jim," and Jim's like, "I'm gonna for that, Tony."
What did he say?
So
You
happy
spoke
that
so
Tony
loud I
said
couldn't
it.
hear you.
He's like, sorry. He said Tony Romo said, "Here we go, Jim," and Jim said back to him like, Jim was right back to him like, "Oh, Tony, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to say that."
I've been waiting for you to say
like
that.
What happened, Rocky?
Isaac Tesla.
I heard
Who
him
else?
say it was in the. Yeah, all he does is catch tutties.
It's ridiculous.
Did you just see it?
Yes, I just
Did
saw
you
it.
just see it?
Just
Or-
saw, literally as
Oh
we
my
were.
god,
yes.
you're so behind.
Yeah, I'm way behind.
Oh my
my
gosh,
that's-
so behind.
Rocky, why would
And-
you? Okay.
And every time he
My
catches a
seat, my
touchdown
seat.
pass,
4th and
ev-
goal.
it's the same thing every time he catches a touchdown pass.
Isaac
He
Tesla
leaps
touches.
in the air, one defender comes under him and smacks his legs, and he helicopters to the ground.
Listen,
Every time it's the same thing. Okay, Bills Eagles. Let's go a little quicker
Crazy.
through these last games. So Bills Eagles.
Whoa, that's what Ian Rappaport just tweeted. He just said that. Feels like all of Isaac Tesla's catches look like this. That was a great call.
Maybe I should be getting
Yeah,
paid more than I am.
always.
That's all I'm saying.
I just got a tweet. Someone just wrote, Tesla makes every catch look like a car crash.
That's a good one. Okay, Bills Eagles.
That's
Bills
great.
Bills by 1.5. Now this is an interesting one because the Eagles are locked in. I think at the 3 seed. Are they locked in at the 3? Basically, right? Like most like because they don't have the tiebreaker
they
of the
still have a
Bears.
path at the 1, I thought. I
How?
thought they needed some crazy stuff, but
They're 10-5, and the Seahawks are 12. Maybe. That doesn't seem very likely. I don't think it's a big
Crazy
leverage game for the
stuff.
Eagles. I think it's a little.
I'm doing it right now.
The Bills clinched already. The Bills clinched the playoffs already. So
Oh, Eagles could be the 2 seed. I just found a situation where the Eagles could be the 2.
that's if the Bears lose the last 2 games and they win the last 2 games. That's very simple. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. The Bears. And
Yeah,
by the
the
way, the
Eagles
Bears.
are very low leverage. They pretty much have where they're staying, and they're not really
Yeah, it's a
moving
low leverage game for
there.
them. For the Bills, they could still
No,
win
no,
the
no.
division.
This is a tiebreaker over Niners. If they had a 3-way tie.
Oh, if the interesting.
So,
Okay, so
the Chicago and Eagles would have the tiebreaker, or Chicago would have the tiebreaker.
so they need the
They'd be the
Seahawks to
one.
lose this week. They need the Niners to lose this week, and they need the Niners to win next week against the Seahawks, basically.
And that would give them the 2, not even the
Not even a 1. Okay, anyway. And the Bills, they clinched already. Not as big of a leverage game for them, obviously. The only way they win the division, I think, is win the last 2, and the Patriots lose the last 2 to the Jets and Dolphins. Probably not going to happen. So, anyway.
They're not losing to the Jets.
The Bills, well, I'll tell you why
They're
it's
losing to the
significant.
Jets. They're losing to the Jets.
It's significant for the Bills. I'll tell you why it's significant for the Bills. Because
Bet. Feisty bet.
if you are the Bills, you want the 5 seed,
Yeah.
because right now it's most likely going to be the Steelers. You want to play the Steelers. That's the
I
team you
agree.
want to play in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So like the 5 seed is meaningful right now, and the Bills match up really well with the Steelers. I mean, every time they play them, they just seem to blow them out of the water. So that's it means something. It means something. So it's a big game for the Bills. Yeah, let's see if Josh Allen can
I
continue.
found Jacksonville 1 seed.
Let me
That
ask you a
will-
question. What happens in Buffalo if they go to Pittsburgh and lose? What happens in Buffalo?
That
Are
would
they
be
just
wild.
like they obviously
be
get
wild.
rid of
Oh, you better fire McDermott.
You fired McDermott, but like
Trade Josh
what
Allen.
else happens?
Trade
I
Josh
guess
Allen.
it's just- Oh, to the Raiders, right?
Bro, that's you're shaking your head. That's exactly what's happening. They're talking about it. They're legitimately talking about it. Ridiculous.
They want Josh Allen traded? The Bills?
No. I'm saying for you to say that and bring it up is what I feel the same thing as Ravens fans.
Oh, with Lamar.
Or
Yeah.
Ravens
No, I agree.
about trading
yeah.
and picking John Harbaugh and trading Lamar. Like that's how ridiculous. You said that you were obviously you're joking and you're
Being
messing
facetious,
around, you're
yeah.
being silly,
Yeah.
being facetious. But that's what people are actually saying in Baltimore. That's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
That's ridiculous.
I know. That's a good way to put it into perspective. So anyway, we got Bills by 1.5, Meisty. Who are you going with?
Sorry, I'm not by the screen. I'll be there in a few minutes. But I do think I really do like the Bills. No, I do like the Bills here. The Eagles, though, can win any game, and that's pretty much why they won the Super Bowl last year, because they just win games. They are a team that finds ways to win games. Ugly, clean, weird, missed field goals, penalties. But I think Buffalo finds a way to win. I actually think that they win by a winning field goal. It's going to come down to or something.
I don't know, because we were talking. Yeah, Eagles already won division. Bills are playing for seeding, and you want to play the Steelers, like you said.
The Bills. The Bills. Yeah, they're not going to win their division, but they could.
I know, but I don't think they really think about that stuff. Also, I think I think the Jets game will be over because I think the Bills game is at 4:00. I think the Patriots-Jets game will be over. So, I don't think all the players look at who won or not, but maybe the coaches would see, Patriots won, can't win division anymore. Josh Allen's hurting, maybe we rest him, maybe we don't put him into such harm's way.
I don't know if they rest him. I just think they play it easy. I think they play it easy in that case. Yeah, a lot of handoffs,
exactly.
A lot of don't get hurt situations. You're not allowed to run the ball. You kind of don't let him run. If a sack is coming, don't try to escape it. Just kind of go down. Don't be silly.
Exactly.
100%
So,
agree.
yeah. So I don't know because that could. Yeah, I was right. The Patriots Jets at 1:00, Eagles Bills at 4:25. So Patriots will probably have won the division by the time they're kicking off. By the time Eagles Bills kicking off.
Good point.
And they're going to be talking about it.
But the 5 seed matters. The 5 seed matters.
The 5 seed for sure. I 1,000,000% want to play the Steelers. But I wouldn't want a 5 seed when the Ravens win the division. Because then Derrick Henry's going to run all over. Where there is delusion, there is hope.
Where there's delusion, there's hope. And I in my playoff machine, it has the Ravens winning the division. So don't ask me how or what's going to happen. But I do have the Ravens winning the division.
Shocker. That's your playoff
machine. Shadussi, baby, Shadussi.
Okay,
should be. But yes, for Eagles Bills, I'm gonna go Philly. Because what is the line right now?
1.5 for Bills. Bills favored by 1.5.
Bills minus 1.5. So Eagles win straight up. So that'll get the cover. I think the strength of the Bills team is their run game. Eagles have a good run defense. They have a white corner going to the Pro Bowl, so that shows you how good Philly's defense. They can get a white cornerback into the.
Here's my preseason pick for Defensive Player of the Year, Cooper DeJean.
Cooper?
He's not going to
get it. If Garrett breaks the record, they got to give it to him. But
even if he doesn't break the record, he gets it. The Defensive Player of the Year.
It's Myles Garrett, yeah.
Think so?
Yeah.
For sure?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's minus 10,000 right now. It's minus 10,000 right now, dude.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Anyway, so 1.5 Bills. I'm inclined to pick the Bills. Therefore I'm going to pick the Eagles. Bears Niners. Going against my gut always works. Bears Niners. Great Sunday night game, by the way, guys. Did they flex this?
This is the game of the week.
Was this from the beginning of the season?
No, this is already the game of the week. You want to know something funny? Mike Tirico said on the broadcast last week when he was doing Patriots or after Patriots Ravens. When they do the wrap up, then they preview next week's game. Mike Tirico said he was in Chicago and to watch Bears preseason in July or August, and he said somebody mentioned to him, either a coach or player said like, "Oh yeah, we got you Sunday night in December, but like, oh, they might flex us out. Like, oh, maybe we're not going to be that good." I think that's what he said, but something like that. Or maybe Mike Tirico, like,
Okay,
thinking, oh, maybe they flexed us out, but now it's one of the games of the year. Yeah.
This is
What
Bears
game is
Niners.
it?
This is Bears Niners, and
Bears
Oh,
Niners.
and to your point, it's a bit to your point, Yehuda. Like, who would be thinking at that week 17? We'd be talking about two teams that are fighting for the number 1 seed right now, which is literally what it is. Again, what's the Bears scenario? I think this is the Bears scenario. I didn't look it up. I think they need a Rams loss, one Rams loss, and then they need to they need to beat the Niners. They need to win the next 2 games, and the Niners to beat the Seahawks next week. I think that might be all they need. I don't know, which is not crazy, but they might need a little more. But there's a path, outside path for them to get the number 1 seed. But what's way more interesting, is that the Seahawks beat the Panthers, let's say, right? Then the Niners beat the Bears. Sunday night we might have this Week 18 schedule out, because the Niners might just play Sunday night 2 straight weeks. So right, because I think Niners Seahawks, even if Panthers Bucks exists, Ravens Steelers could throw a wrench in this. But even if Panthers Bucks exists, even if Chargers Broncos exists, somehow that's for the number 1 seed. I still think Niners Seahawks, that's Sunday Night Football material right there. For the number 1 seed on the line, look what they did last year. They had Lions, Vikings, 14-win teams, number 1 seed on the line, no brainer. Now they also didn't have a win and go home game.
I will say last year there was no other situational game where they.
That's what I just said. There was correct. That's what I just said. There's no other. Yeah, but wait a second. If your 2 options, which is the most likely scenario, is that your 2 options will be Niners Seahawks or Panthers Bucks. Which one you putting Sunday night? Which one you putting Saturday night, my friend?
Yeah, you're right. 100%.
That's all I'm saying. So this is gonna be an interesting one. But it's a great game. Obviously, Caleb Williams is a hard guy to get a read on. Didn't play well against the Packers until he did. Made some big throws in the fourth. It's like when Darnold did this a little bit against the Rams also. When guys put their team in a position to lose, but then the team bails them out, and then they put their team in a position to win. How do you judge that? It's a little hard, and I think that's what Caleb Williams did last week. Like, he didn't play particularly well for the first 3 quarters. Even without Micah Parsons, I thought the Packers' pass rush was pretty decent, and I thought the secondary played pretty well. Like, I thought the Packers did a good job, albeit weather conditions affected that, of course. But yeah, Caleb Williams was not throwing the ball accurately the first 3 quarters. All of a sudden, he made some huge throws, and then that game winner to DJ Moore was just a bomb. So hard guy to get a read on, also. But I think I've seen encouraging signs from Caleb Williams this year, just considering the trajectory's been pointing in the right direction, right? Like, we just want someone points this out, like, quarterback growth isn't always linear. So we always assume that Bo Nix and Drake May, all of a sudden year 2, they're going to get better. It happened with Drake May. Bo Nix, you can argue. Jaden Daniels, so good in his rookie year, must be better in his second year. It doesn't always happen that way. CJ Stroud, so good in his rookie year, must be better in his second year. That's not always the case. That they have the concept of a sophomore slump. Like, quarterback growth is not always linear. You don't always know how guys are going to go. So assuming you saw Caleb Williams not play particularly well last year, but like you see he can move in the pocket, extend plays, and use, throw the ball down the field every now and then. Okay, obviously he's going to do it more consistently this year. That wasn't a given, but he has. And he's made big plays in the fourth quarter. And although their margin of victory is very slim, he's made big plays when he's needed to. So at the end of the day, you see the big plays he has in him. I like this. I also think he has a good matchup this week. We saw Phillip Rivers kind of torch this Niners defense last week against on Monday night. So I think it's a good matchup for him. I think he can have success. But I want the Niners to win. I want that Sunday night game. I'm going Niners by 3. Yehuda, what do you think about this game?
What's the line right now?
Niners 3. Niners by 3.
I know. What is the line? It is Niners -3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels right, I think, because Bears are coming off big emotional win. Niners are at home, so you're going to get that little home boost, but they are so injured. And like you said, Phillip Rivers was carving them up. First drive, you're like, this Zeta should not be doing this to us right now. And I think the Bears definitely did get a little lucky getting an onside kick. Anytime you get an onside kick is lucky, but then they turned it on in the big moments when they needed to for the game tying drive on 4th down to he was wide open, but to make a big play and come through. And then also say, like, they were facing a backup quarterback. Malik Willis was playing well, but it was still backup. It was not Jordan Love. And even though, like, bless you, they had to get a lot of things right, and they had to be playing against depleted Packers teams, missing Tucker Kraft. Jordan Love got injured. Mike Hill was out. And then they only barely won by a touchdown, yes, but sometimes better be lucky than good. And they are a well-coached team. Their quarterback, who I know is a big favorite in the Meisty Abadoud dynasty household, Caleb Williams, has been making the leap. Starting to get better. And I know Rocky really wants this Niners Seahawks game, but
I do.
I don't know. Bears got something special going right now. San Francisco is much better by DVOA. Chicago is a little lucky. I remember seeing when they were like 7-2, 8-3, and whatever. DVOA kept being like, "This is the worst 7-2 team we've ever tracked." And then the next week they'd be like 8-2. This is the worst 8-2 team we've ever tracked. And like, it was consistent that they were getting a little lucky. So it has that Chiefs feel from last year, especially with Caleb still not hitting like all the layups and like the easy throws. But they got something special going right now. So I'm gonna take Chicago. Not happy about it at all. And I definitely can see the Niners winning, but I want to take Chicago in what is another huge test. Right, like every week becomes the biggest game in Caleb Williams' career. Obviously, being a second-year guy, so he hasn't had that many games. But every week they keep winning. Every week, then the next week comes. Now, this is the biggest game that you've ever played. This is the biggest game you've ever played in. Brock Purdy's been in like 3 or 4 seasons, and he's played in the Super Bowl. So like, this is a huge game for him, but he has the experience. But this, I feel like, is the biggest game in Caleb Williams' career up to this point. So, can he come through in this big moment? Still fighting for the division. I don't think they officially have division on lock.
They don't.
And fighting for the 1 seed. So, we'll see. We'll see really like if he can come through and if their defense can force some turnovers. And George Kittle's been injured, so if they lose another guy to injury, like that could really affect their offense. And I think, it seems like you can plug in any quarterback, like we've talked about with Kyle Shanahan's system. But to be missing Kittle is such a big part of the run game and the pass game. He isn't practicing. He has a chance to play. But, yeah, if he's hurting or out, I think that'll really affect their offense. So I'm going to take Chicago by, like, some crazy field goal through the fog. They'll like go through the fog and hit the Golden Gate Bridge and go into the field goal somehow with the Chicago the Bears' luck, crazy good luck they're having this year. But yeah, I am very nervous about my pick, and I can definitely see a path to the Niners winning. But I'm going to take Chicago.
So where are who do the Packers play in Week 18?
Vikings.
Why isn't that in the? I know, I just don't see it in the playoff. Oh, here it is.
Which is relevant, which is certainly relevant for a couple different reasons, but.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, let's just focus on. Sorry, I was just on this machine. So yeah, I actually think that the 49ers are going to win here. I actually also somehow think the 49ers are going to pull the 1 seed off somehow. But that's obviously comes down to Week 18
There's a chance.
Versus Seattle, and that'll come down to Week 18, and then that could go either way to be determined and discussed. But I think the Bears have less to play for here than other teams. I think, first of all, I think that if you are the so looking at the playoff hit, where you're either playing the 49ers. If you are the 3 seed, you're playing either the 49ers or you're going to play Seattle, one of those teams, depending on what happens there, right? And if you're the 2 seed, you're playing Green Bay. At the end of the day, or you're playing Detroit or something like that, but most likely Green Bay will get the 7th seed, the Seattle will get 6th seed, and 5th seed Rams or something like that. So either way, I don't think that it matters to the matchup, per se. I think that you don't want to play Green Bay if you're them in the first round, but you definitely don't want to be playing the 49ers or Seattle
True.
either. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation in that sense. But I could see very simply and easily that the Bears lose this week, win next week, take the 2 seed or the 3 seed or whatever it is, and be okay with that. So I'm gonna take the 49ers here to win.
I agree, and I agree with your assessment. The seeding is still important depending on who you play, depending on who your competition is. So I agree with you. Okay, let's move on to Packers-Ravens Saturday night game, which, we discussed the Ravens a lot. So we'll kind of just discuss the matchup a little bit. This is interesting, Aaron. Do you know why this opened as a 2.5 point line and it's now 5.5? Packers. It opened as Packers by 2.5. Now it's Packers by 5.5. Is Jordan Love playing?
Well, Lamar Jackson has been listed as doubtful as of.
Oh, is that right?
No. 53 minutes ago, Adam Schefter posted out of, quarterback Lamar Jackson is listed as doubtful for Saturday's game at Green Bay. If Jackson cannot play, obviously Tyler Huntley will play. So that's why the line is moving. Again, obviously as a Ravens fan, I'm praying for the life of me that the Ravens find a way to win, whether it's Huntley, whether it's Lamar. But Green Bay is playing, and obviously here, if Detroit loses today, that would help the Ravens because I think everything kind of just settles up for Packers. And so I'm really hoping that the Ravens find a way to win here, but I really don't see it. Unfortunately, I don't see it. I mean, I'm going to pick the Ravens because I'm a fan, but I really don't see it. But yeah, the Lamar Jackson's probably not going to play. He probably has a broken rib or a cracked back, like something bruised back, and
that would keep him out against the Steelers also if the game was relevant.
A broken rib could. It depends how bad of a break, and there's a lot of questions in that. A bruise, hopefully it's just a bruise. But this is one of the things I actually dislike about, I don't know if it's a John Harbaugh thing or if it's a Ravens thing, but to not really talk much about injuries. I know it's like, you don't want other teams to know. I don't really care. I think as fans, you kind of want to know what is wrong with this one. The Matabike thing. The guy's retired. The guy is not even with the team anymore. The guy is rumored to have moved to Texas, and he hasn't been with the team since week 3 or 4. Or whatever it was that he got hurt. He's just kind of dipped out. You got to be more, transparent, I guess is the right word. And just let us know, hey, what's with Lamar? Is he out for the next 2 weeks? Oh, we're trying to play an advantage on the Steelers. Like, shut up. All right? You could beat the Steelers with or without him. It doesn't matter. Fans want to know what's up with their quarterback. Also, fans are buying tickets hoping that maybe Lamar plays, and you're not telling it. I don't know, whatever it is. The Ravens are going to struggle, and if the Ravens are going to win here, it's going to be a crazy way to win, and they're going to need a lot of help, and maybe running back by committee can get them the win, or maybe Falele gets hurt. I don't know. It's funny. Like everyone else gets hurt, and you're just like, well, the one guy you want to get hurt falls down more than anyone else doesn't get hurt. I don't know. I don't know which injuries on anyone but Falele.
Well, I'll say this: if Malik Willis was out of practice today, Jordan Love is still in concussion protocol. You could be going against Clayton Tune, which, listen, Hundley's not great. No. He's looked decent. He's looked pretty good this year, but I'd take him over Clayton Tune. And the Packers actually got really banged up against the Bears. So aside from all the injuries they already had, and aside from the question mark at quarterback, which, by the way, they could be going into the game against the Ravens with Jaden Reed as a backup. So a fully healthy backup, Jaden Reed as your backup quarterback. So a fully healthy Packers team, I agree with you. But,
emergency receiver?
He's the emergency quarterback, and they didn't sign anyone this week. So technically, Clayton Tune is 1, and Jaden Reed is 2. So he's the emergency guy. I think it was Jaden Reed, I'm pretty sure. That itself might help the Ravens. Like, maybe they'll cover 5.5, right? If Clayton Tune is, that's a pretty good opportunity. But all your points are correct, Meisty. All your points are correct, right? And Lamar gives them the best chance to win. Obviously, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. I think Huntley ran the offense very efficiently last week. He was 9 for 10. He made some nice third down conversions, nice scrambles, ran the ball pretty well, didn't put the ball in harm's way. I thought he had a nice fake on the Zay Flowers end around touchdown. Like, he's actually done a decent job running the offense this year against the Bears too. So I think it could be serviceable if they're going up against Clayton Tune. But ultimately, the Packers are the better team right now, and I do think the Packers are going to cover.
Yeah. So it's crazy looking up the Ravens DVOA. They are the 15th ranked team. They're 16th in weighted DVOA, which is the more recent one. Their offense is 16th. Their defense is 16th. And special teams 11th. But, like, everything about them is just perfectly mid. And, like, we saw sometimes they'll show up. It's 24-0 against the Bengals, against a bad team. But they don't play that well against good teams. The Texans blowout was the one that was, like, they clearly had, they had Cooper Rush and a bunch of injuries on defense, but most of the time it's just not a very good team, and they're obviously only one game below 500, so they're just like a pretty average to below average team. And as Ravens fans, we do expect better, expect them to be at top of the team, but like right now, like you said, they're just not the better team. The Packers are the better team, even with the injuries, especially if they didn't have their injuries, like they would be dealing the Super Bowl favorite. But even if I think Jordan Love or Malik Willis, I think Shefty or Rappaport said one of those is going to be, at least one of the quarterbacks is going to be available. So obviously I think Malik Willis lowers their ceiling, but Josh Jacobs is going to play, and Ravens run defense has been suspect at times. It's going to be like a grinded out cold game in Lambeau, run game, Malik Willis, and
that's why Lamar Jackson's out.
I don't think
he can't play in the cold.
No, he has a contusion in his back. And then maybe do the game
against the Bengals when it was like 0 degrees. He played pretty well.
Yeah, no, exactly. He was solid.
I joke.
He doesn't like the cold, but he can play in the cold. He definitely doesn't like the cold.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone likes the cold.
He likes it less.
Well,
that's a fair point.
Some people. Derrick Henry probably likes the cold, run people over.
Yeah, he probably does.
But he probably. But like
he fumbles the ball.
The one thing I will say is the Ravens, ironically, are pretty well equipped as mid as their defense is. They're well equipped to face against a running quarterback and the run pass option. They haven't been running that a lot this year, obviously, because Lamar's been more injured. But like they see it a lot in practice. Ravens defense. So maybe if Malik Willis plays, they're like used to playing that style of defense, and they'll shut down the offense. But ultimately, I do think the Packers are the better team, even with all their injuries, and the Ravens will find some way to be up like 17-7 in the fourth quarter, and then give up a 10-point lead and lose 20-17 to Malik Willis. So I'm going to take the Packers. I don't think I'm going to take them to cover because you said it was 5.5 or 3.5.
It opened up at 2.5, but it's now 5.5.
Now 5.5, I think, because they're expecting more play maybe. But 2.5, I would definitely say Packers 2.5. Yeah, but 5.5, I still think I'll take the Packers to win, but the Ravens to cover that 5.5. Packers will win by like 3 or 4 points.
Okay, real quick, guys. Do you think the Browns, who are only 3-point underdogs against the Steelers, have a chance to beat the Steelers sans DK Metcalf and potentially sans TJ Watt?
First it does me.
Is that a yes?
It's time.
I open my request. Our mouths to God's ears, to the football gods. Hands to Myles Garrett. Savaging and I mean, this is it's not much to it. I know Yehuda agrees purely with me here that you're hoping for Shedeur Sanders to have the best game of his career, and you're hoping that TJ Watt being out hurts them, and that Myles Garrett and that defense continues to just wreck. And at the end of the day, look, here's the deal. Look, okay? No, here's the deal. I mean, look, here's the deal. At the end of the day, the Browns should keep them to low scoring, and they should. It's gonna be cold, and they're gonna play really good.
What's the
defense should play really well. Probably 37, probably 36. I'm guessing 36. Yeah, 36.5. My guess. Maybe even less. What do we have? 36.5.
34.5.
Wow.
Good guess. Good guess.
Oh. No, I mean it's big points off, but that's so low. So yeah, you see here again. There's my point, though. All right, and Shador just has to move the ball, Judkins, and whoever they're playing with, just move the ball, kick field goals. You know, if you kick enough field goals. Oh right, he broke his leg. Yeah. You just have to move the ball down the field. Yeah, you have to move the ball and take a lot of field goals. Like, for example, I think that, like, there could be a game of field goals. And at the end of the day, that's where Pittsburgh obviously has an advantage. But, like, it could be 12-9 or 15-12 or so just move the ball down the field, score a couple, and hope that your defense holds them longer than that enough, But otherwise, I do think the Steelers win, and it's unfortunate. But, it's just a hope, and there's not much we can do.
It's brutal. Relying on Shadusi for your season, for a chance, not even for your season, for a chance to try to win your season. It's not like him winning puts you in the
brutal.
You have to rely on him and have to have beaten the Packers and then have to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh for the division. Like, oh my goodness.
What are the Ravens' chances? What is their percentage making the playoffs right now? Probably less than 20.
I think I saw 9%.
No, it's less than 10.
I saw 9%.
Well, here's the thing, Yehuda. I just want the Ravens to beat the Packers so that the Steelers are forced to beat the Browns to win the division. I just want that. I want to be able to watch that, and with kind of interest. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah,
force the Steelers to do it. Force the Steelers to beat the Browns.
With the way this Ravens season's going, they're for sure losing the Packers. And it's over.
Well, I was gonna say they might beat the Packers, and the Steelers might lose to the Browns. Then, here we go, finally, and then they lose to the Steelers anyway. Week 18. That might be the more likely scenario.
That would be an instant classic. Oh, that's the most classic. That actually,
you're starting to see it.
Yeah,
you're starting to envision it.
No, I'd rather lose this week and be done than go into Week 18 and lose to Pittsburgh. Like,
in hindsight,
on Sunday Night Football.
No, but there's nothing more Tomlin. There's nothing more Mike Tomlin. There's nothing more Mike Tomlin than having the opportunity to clinch against the 3-12 Cleveland Browns and lose. There's nothing more Mike Tomlin than that. And then beating the Ravens the next week.
That's Mike Tomlin. Yeah, it's 100%. 100% Mike Tomlin. At his peak. That's peak Mike Tomlin, actually.
That's right. That's gotta happen. Anyway, guys.
And then they're gonna get whooped by the Bills at home.
And ultimately, I agree with you. Yeah, that's their ultimate destiny, probably anyway. But I ultimately agree with you.
The Ravens' destiny also would be that, though. You win the division, that's the destiny for you.
I agree with you there as well, Meisty. But I do think the Ravens put up a better fight with the Bills.
Derrick Henry for 220 this time, and he doesn't fumble.
They might have to do it with Huntley. Even if they make the playoffs, they might have to do it with Huntley again.
Yeah.
I really would be shocked if he misses out on the playoffs this year for Lamar. I think
he did it. He did it before. He did it before.
I know, but it's really if it's truly a contusion, it's not. You take some steroids or whatever, and you're back in the game. Not real steroids.
Juice him up.
You juice him up. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I agree with you. We're all just going to pick the Steelers, obviously, but hope that it's incorrect.
Perk Rogers. You have to go Perk
Rogers. Lamar would be lean Lamar, because down Florida.
Listen, it's gonna be again. It's gonna be interesting. There are interesting games. There's a lot of interesting scenarios, and next week's gonna be exciting because I'm drawing out all these possible scenarios of how it's gonna work out in Week 18. In a few days, we'll know the schedule. We'll know how it's all gonna work out. So. We'll be back then, guys, and until then, enjoy all the football this weekend.
Sayonara. Go Lions.